Hey, good evening and welcome everybody, and welcome back to our weekly show. We like to call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a 4-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a Pick 4 ticket. Thank you for joining us. This week we're going to head back to Kentucky and Keeneland Racetrack in Lexington, Kentucky. The Pick 4 starts with race number 6 and it finishes in race number 9. They're all stakes races, including 3 Grade 1s. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. I've got Ray Torado, who's joining us from Staten Island, New York.
How you doing, Rich? How you doing, Joe?
Good. Ray, we've only got 3 more weeks until the Breeders' Cup, so I'm going to start peeking ahead. With the flop of Run Happy last week, who do you like so far in the sprint division?
Well, me, I still like Run Happy. I mean, he won a mile, so 6 furlongs for him. If he gets a couple of good workouts, I think if he's healthy, he's gonna be really tough. I like Run Happy. The speed,
right.
We like speed.
So last week we got knocked out by the other Baffert in the Pick 4, and our other racing analyst, if you like to call him that, and our good friend from Temecula, California, is Joe English. All right, Joe, I'm going to give you that same question. Who's your top horse right now heading into Breeders' Cup in the sprint? If you could make a morning line favorite today on October the 7th for the sprint at the Breeders' Cup in Santa Anita, who's on your top line?
Those are 2 different questions. If I was going to make a morning line favorite, I'd be saying I'd probably go with Lord Nelson. Baffert holds all the cards in the sprint division generally. Eastern horses don't necessarily do all that well when the Breeders' Cup is at Santa Anita. So I have nothing against AP&E and I have nothing but respect for him. But I'd have to say Lord Nelson would be the favorite. My horse would probably be Drafong. I think he did really well in the King's Bishop. He's going to come into the race nice. It's going to be a big, bulky field. He's going to have speed. Depending he draws, he should be free of trouble. I think Mike Smith will fit him just fine, and I think he'd get home first.
So you like either Baffert or Baffert?
Baffert, right. Well, his first Breeders' Cup win was back in 1985 or 86 in the Breeders' Cup. A horse named 30 Slews, if anybody remembers back that far.
All right, moving on.
And things
we
haven't
won't
changed.
split them.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly consider putting myself on a 5-day racing suspension with no speaking tonight in the racing after splitting kings at the blackjack table last week. I apologize. For anybody who was watching, I was really upset with myself, actually. We are heading back after last week in sunny Southern California. We are going to go back to the homeland of horse racing. So it's Keeneland Racetrack. They regularly produce the most lucrative purses anywhere in the country. I'm going to go ahead and handle our weather forecast. We are back to Rich the Weatherman for Three Broke Guys. Let's see, Kentucky tomorrow calls for cloudy skies with a high temperature of 69 degrees. The humidity is at 49% and a slight wind at 15 miles an hour. Actually, all in all, for Kentucky, it sounds like a beautiful day for racing. They've got a total of 10 races. There's 5 stakes and 3 Grade 1s on tap for Saturday. Just another day at Keeneland, really. For tonight, we are focused on the Pick 4. It begins in race number 6. It concludes in race number 9. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. Shall we go ahead and get started?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Race 6. Approximate post time is 4 p.m. Eastern. So everybody out here on the West Coast, just be aware, 4 p.m. Eastern. Up first, race 6, the Thoroughbred Club of America Stakes. It's a Grade 2. They're going 6 furlongs on the main track. The purse is $250,000. For fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. 8 starters, and your odds-on morning line favorite at 6-5 is in post number 2. Stonetastic for trainer Kelly Breen and ridden by Paco Lopez. Joe, before I turn you loose on a speedy flock of fillies and mares, one more trivia question for you tonight. Why does TVG's Mike Joyce refer to jockey Paco Lopez as Dr. Kevorkian? Because he has
no idea.
Because he has no patience.
Very good, very good.
All right, you are up first on race number 6.
I'm really not sure how I go about following that, but I guess I'll give it a shot. This was a difficult race for me because I kind of like the morning line favorite at all. I know Stonetastic is fast from the gate. But I think we kind of know what she is. She's going to go to the lead, and if she lasts, she lasts, and if she doesn't, she doesn't. And just looking back at her PPs, it seems as if every time she runs a big number, she flops the race after that. I mean, and maybe flops is a strong word, but she doesn't win. And she came out of a big race last time, and you're going to get 6-5. And based on what's going to happen in the next race, I don't think I definitely don't really feel like opening a pick four with odds-on favorite to odds-on favorite. So I'm kind of I'm against Stonetastic in this spot. I actually like the horse who's, I think, the up-and-comer in this spot, and that's Richard Mandela's Shipper. Bendable. And I was actually kind of surprised that he got Jose Ortiz to ride Bendable and didn't send anybody from Southern California to the East Coast to ride her. She's getting weight as a 3-year-old from the older horses. She should be fresh. She hasn't run more. She's run only 4 times this year. She's done some very good things out here. She's got a bullet work on 10-1 and 46-4 for 4 furlongs. And I think she's going to sit outside the other 2 speeds. She got a good draw in that Stonetastic, and Sarah Sis will be inside of her, and Mike Smith will be able to sit outside and see what happens. And I think, like I said, I'm going to go with the up-and-comer, especially since I don't necessarily like the morning line favorite. If I can get 6-1, which I kind of doubt in this spot, I kind of think Bendable might be the co-second choice along with my other choice, who's the 1 for Chad Brown. Because I did get a chance to see the race that AP Indian won today, and I kind of think Irish Jasper could get a similar trip to AP Indian, sitting down on the inside behind the speed horses and have to work her way out. And again, the reason she's not my top choice is because I kind of wonder why Chad Brown, a New York trainer, didn't get Jose Ortiz, a New York rider, to ride Irish Jasper, and Jose Ortiz was available to ride for Richard Mandela. But she did have a breakthrough in her last. She had a really nice race. She ran a top buyer speed figure, her top figure by 9 points. As a 4-year-old, she should be able to hold her form. But fillies happen to bounce more than colts. But I'd still like Chad Brown's chances of holding her form, especially considering she's had since August to recover. So the 1 is my second choice. Those 2 also both fit the track profile. I'm sure Rich will get to that. Where it looks like it says, at least in the last meet, on a 25 race sample, 92% of horses were either E's or EP types. So those 2 kind of fit that mold, and I think they're the 2. They'll be in the best spot. I mean, if the track favorite closes at all, I'd like the class of Spelling again to try and come back and reclaim some former glory in this spot in a race that doesn't necessarily have the Stop Charging Marias, the Wavell Avenues, the Have You Gone Aways, the sheer dramas that I'm facing in the past. Her record at Keeneland is not good, but I can excuse both of those starts. She had a troubled trip in the mud in the same race last year and finished 4th, beaten only 2 lengths by Fioretti, who's also in this race. But the other spot at Keeneland was a grade 1, where she was returning from a 5-month freshening at 7 furlongs, which is really hard to do, even if you're at the top of your game. But the track profile really kind of puts her up against the 8 ball. So my choices in this race are really the 5 and the 1. If we had room and something, God forbid, weird happened, I'd like to have Spelling again, only because she's an old class horse, and maybe if there's a suicidal meltdown on top, something strange can happen. To me, it's really more Bendable, Jasper in the top spot for me. So Ray, what are your thoughts on this race and specifically on Stonetastic?
Well, I kind of agree with you. I kind of like not really look at Stonetastic that much, especially with next race. I do like your horse, Bendable, number 5. Speed from the West Coast, fits the track profile. I like the 3-year-olds. It's time, they're fresh and peaking, they're growing, and at times, like you said, today they're getting weight, 122, 118. So Jose Ortiz has an Eclipse Award season, and he's getting more out-of-town mounts in the big races. So I do like Bendable. Definitely, speed, sit right outside of them and just, top of stretch, just take over. And she's run very, very well here. I was even thinking about singling the horse. I mean, honestly.
Wow.
I would throw in Fantastic. I mean, he'll be my very, very timid second choice, but I really don't want to put him on a ticket. Um, what I see here is that her recent losses have been 7 furlongs, so 6 furlongs is her prime distance. But I don't have much confidence in her in the bigger, greater stake races at these odds. She doesn't really seem to give like a top effort on these days, and that happens to some horses. So she's kind of vulnerable for me. If the race falls apart, if we ever want to take it, I like to include, like you said, number 1, Irish Jasper for Chad Brown. He's back in the dirt sprinter, and she's got the rail, and just needs to break well, and not be too far back. So those would be my horses, 5, and the 2 is a timid horse, and the 1 Irish Jasper. So, all right, Rich, what do you guys say about the very close of America race?
Oh, I don't know. You could probably just rewind this video back a couple of minutes here and just replay that again twice over. If anybody here is shocked that Rich is ending up on the horse from California over in Keeneland, like that, just raise your hand way up in the air, and Joe will come over and tap you in the head with a rubber mallet. Of course, I think that actually Brenda will knock you out of the pit for that day. So she beat a talented horse, Enola Gay. I believe was undefeated coming into that race.
Yeah, we were about
that day. Ray and I were texting. Ray, unfortunately, was on the receiving end of my text last Saturday when we got knocked out of the pit for as well. So, she's won 3 out of 4. The one horse that did beat her is Luminant. That's a Baffert horse. She's real solid. So she might look a little bit light on the speed figures, and she is stepping up a bit in class. And so I kind of did what Ray did. I kind of hit the chicken switch and went back to Fantastic. That was the little joke was about Paco Lopez. He loves to just get out on a horse and let it fly as fast as he can. Stonetastic has a pace advantage over most of these horses on the inside post. So I would imagine that she'll be up there at the lead. I understand what Joe said and giving credence to that. But again, I kind of see Paco Lopez just trying to take this as quickly and as fast as he can. I did go back there and look at these numbers. This is absolutely Southern California or Santa Anita type numbers right here. 60% of these races go wire to wire. Again, this is 92%. I mean, again, this might be Los Alamitos that we can get on a given day.
It's not Santa Anita numbers. I've never seen. I wish Santa Anita were that easy.
Yeah, exactly. So this is absolutely get to the front. And so if you're looking for that, you're looking for early pace, last race is the number that you're really trying to focus on.
Acted up in a track.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's how I ended up on Stonetastic. I was trying to beat her. I did the same thing that Joe and Ray did, thinking, well, I know who I'm betting in race number 7, so I'd better be looking for a price here. So I was trying to beat her. I got a California horse around the shoot. I didn't have to look very far. And again, the fact that Ben DeBoer had already knocked me out of the pit 4 that we were handicapping together made it a little bit easier. So I went 5-2. I believe Ray went 5-2 with 1 underneath that. And Joe went 5-1 with 8 underneath that.
Correct, sir.
All right. I am coming back to you. Here we are. In case anybody didn't catch it today, I'm wearing all my Dodger gear. All right. There is, I believe we are up to race number 7. This is the First Lady Stakes. A grade 1 going 1 mile on the turf. Purse $400,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. 10 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 2. I've said it before, so I will say it again. She is the finest racing mare on turf in North America. And with all due respect to pre-D'Arc winner found, maybe the planet. So, Ray, I know a lot of people, including this host, who think Tepin is the first lady of racing. I don't have a Mark Cassidy bobblehead doll yet, but don't forget who's watching. You're up first on the First Lady.
Yeah, I really think she is. I mean, Tepin, she's undefeated. She is 6 for 6. She won the Royal Ascot race, and I thought last time she would be vulnerable at that spot, and you know what? She came back first time in the U.S. and back here, and she won. So she's just gonna get better after this. I mean, she had a little layoff, so the sky's the limit for this horse. I mean, I think she's a solid single. I mean, I thought she would, I mean, but you know what? I'm surprised there are 9 that horses here. It's horse racing. I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean, we've seen one go out. But she's a solid single for me. I like to include Celestine. I like to just mention Celestine actually. I don't know what they were racing on last time. Maybe on the Belt Parkway. They went 131 and 3. Just the game stakes. She's lightly raced, 2 for 3, so she might have a little more in the tank. But that's about it. I mean, Pepin for me is a single. I mean, if anybody likes Celestine, who can include her. But that's all I gotta say about this race. It's Pepin in front. Joe, what do you think?
I'll try and be brief. It's funny because I remember when we watched Celestine win the Just the Game at Belmont Day. I think Rich and I were at Santa Anita. We might have been, and I think I said something to the effect of, "Wow, maybe if she runs this race, maybe could beat Tepin. Maybe again, she would have to repeat that race, or maybe even get better."
Yeah.
And the only thing, it's funny because I looked back at Tepin, I was like, wait a minute, Tepin's coming back awfully quick. But I looked back and I said, okay, well, she's done that earlier this year. She ran in the Jenny Wiley at Keeneland and then came back and won the Distaff Mile at Churchill Downs 3 weeks later. So I don't think the 3 weeks is an issue. I don't think, I wrote down in my notes that she's back with her own gender, and I was like, well, she's been beating boys. Does that really say anything? And I thought about it. I said, no, it doesn't say anything. They probably just want an easier spot. They're probably not going to run until the Breeders' Cup filly when she'll beat boys again. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say beat boys again. That's getting a little presumptuous. She'll meet boys again. But I don't see anybody beating her. I think she's, like you were saying, Ray, she's a solid single. I kind of think Rich will echo the sentiments. And as far I'm kind of curious to see over the 2 days, based on what happens, who really is. I know we're talking about Tepin being the queen, the queen, the first lady of racing. I don't know if she's the complete first on the turf. I guarantee you she's the first lady of racing. On the dirt, I don't know. There's a little 3-year-old filly named Songbird who's pretty good too. I'm assuming they'll never meet, because I don't think Songbird's ever going to run on the turf. I guess we'll just have to see if they're just the first ladies of their own domain, the masters of their own domain, to quote a Seinfeld episode. So it's Tepin for me. I'm not really going to go with somebody else who I think could win. Just Tepin. Rich?
That was the only thing more obvious than me picking the California horses, was that I beat a chalk easy win. So Tepin. Let's see. What was interesting was, I guess the only thing I'll bring up that I'll add to that is he actually put up a prime power score of 186.6. I've said this before. The turf horses do put up a higher prime power score than the dirt horses. You see that on average anyway. But in this particular case, Tepin getting up into some of the rarefied air, that's the highest, not the highest I've ever seen, but that's close to the highest I've ever seen for a prime power score. So, yeah, you heard me say it all right there in the very beginning about her being the first lady of racing. She's just absolutely superb. I was actually shocked that we used 2 horses the last time that she was out. I'm happy to hear that we'll be using 1 this time. So I only put the 2 on top. If somebody was actually looking for, maybe had a pair underneath and things like that, I was actually looking for the European horse. I thought maybe it has a chance. Just bring an upset here for Jeremy Noceda and Joe Bravo, again coming in from overseas. We talked about this on this show before. Sometimes that turf pedigree over there is just a little bit a shade higher and things like that. So if you're looking for an exacta or some kind of a vertical combination, maybe consider throwing in the 5, depending on what kind of odds you get. But I'm single in the 2. I believe Ray has got the 2 in the 4, and so does Joe. Ray did mention the 8. Those of you who've been watching our show, because that's Ray. All right, I am coming back. All right, and we are going to move along to race number 8. This is the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity, Grade 1, going a mile and a 16th on the main track. First is $500,000 for 2-year-olds only. 12 starters, and your morning line favorite at 5-2 is in post number 11. Classic Empire, trained by Mark Casse and ridden by Julien Leparoux. Joe, this is the big fall race for 2-year-olds in Kentucky. You see any likely Derby starters in this crowd?
Oh, it's always possible. It's just so early to say if there's really anybody who's going to end up in the Derby out of this race. We're talking 6 months, 7 months from now. Hey, any one of the 12, I guess, could make it. But I actually kind of want to start with a question, and I'm wondering the same question, I guess, that I guess maybe it's because Mark Casse likes riding Le Peru, but why not Jose Ortiz in this spot? It's funny. I was even looking at why not Jose Ortiz. I guess Jose Ortiz is on the Grand Motion horse, who is actually one of my picks underneath. But I'll get to him in a second. My top pick.
Can you guys still see me, or can you see did the form come up?
I can see the form.
Okay.
I see the form.
Oh, okay. It went blank for a second. I couldn't tell what happened there. Okay, thanks.
Okay. No worries. I'm actually going to go with a horse who is a little bit outside the box thinking. Joe Bravo and Arnaud Delacour are the connections for AP Indian. And I'm actually going with their runner here in this spot, the 9, No Dozing, for Lael Stables. Good work over the Fail Hill track, bullet 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 3 last week. I've heard Rich talk about undefeated horses that you can't say, well, they're undefeated. You can't tell them they've really done anything wrong yet. He was one of the few who's won against winners. And I actually looked up Delacour's stats when adding Lasix for the first time, and he's actually better than his normal 25%. He's at about 29%. Actually, I'm sorry, he's better than 23. He's at 25% first-time Lasix. And he's got a better return on investment, 255 ROI to 176 overall.
Wow.
Union Rags is the sire, and I believe Union Rags was the sire of the horse that ran Dancing Rags, who won the Alcibiades today. And again, this horse drew clear late at Laurel against winners in his first start against winners. So I think he's got a shot at 12-1. Again, I don't know that I really see any world beaters. So I'm going with the 9 on top. My second choice is the 2 Gunnevera, who got a perfect setup. I watched the race today. Got a perfect setup. There were the other 4 horses in that race were battling for lead, and Gunnevera just came and ran them all down late. And Recruiting Ready actually was 2-5 in this spot, or that spot. And he got leg rear late, and he ran him down. But they were well clear of the other runners in the spot. Don't know what I know. Dialed In was a pretty decent horse on the Kentucky Derby Trail. Won the Florida Derby, if I remember correctly, going a mile and an eighth. Has worked. Horse has worked well. Like I said, I'm just not so sure. I see Castellanos not there, and Jesus. I'm assuming it's Jesus Rios who's back on the horse. And nothing against Jesus Rios, but he's no Javier Castellano. So I just have a feeling that I can't back this horse in this spot. If Castellano up, I can understand it. Again, it's the pedigree, and I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen pace-wise in this race or with the distance. Like I said, I like the horse, but I don't like it enough to make it my top choice. And the 7 was my other choice, Holiday Bonus. Finished second in the sapling. Tip Tap Tap is actually finished behind Gunnevera. He beat Holiday Bonus, and he finished behind Gunnevera in the Saratoga Special. But again, Jose Ortiz gets on this horse. Grand Motion, Lasix on, jockey change, blinkers on first time. So he's making a lot of changes. Hopefully, maybe he needs this horse to wake up. Maybe he just is looking for something to improve this horse enough to get this horse into the winner's circle. So my top 3 choices in order are 9, 2, 7. I'd like to include all 3 on the ticket, but as long as we have room. But if we have to chop down again, I definitely want to make sure that the 9 is on the ticket. So 9, 2, 7 for me. Ray, what do you think of the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity Grade 1 500K?
Well, yeah, a lot of these horses are trying 2 turns for the first time. Like the front one last week, top trainers want to see if their horses is worthy of a Kentucky Derby start. Well, as we're looking at this pick 4, I mean, it looks like we might be going single. So I think this race gives a lot of options here to get a good price. And yes, there you go, Keno. This is where we start right now. I have no top choices. Okay.
Nice.
No top choice. We're just gonna roll numbers here, right? And I won't put the.
Save us time and hit the all button already.
My order is some of your horses too. 7 holiday bonus. He went 2 turns in Monmouth Park. Gets a makeover. First time racing, first time blinkers. Ortiz in motion. 6-1 was a good price. Number 1, Bob Byerman, number 9-2. Against Landry, he had a nice maiden win. He ran a quarter in 23 at Churchill, the last quarter, in the maiden win. He ran 2 seconds faded and hopeful. I don't know, maybe just didn't like that track or just came, I'm not sure what happened in that race. He was 4 wide, he weakened. So he might be craving for 2 turns. And Landry rides him. Number 9, No Dozing. I like him. Union Rags should improve off his 2-for-2 record. Adding Lasix for Delacour. Bravo is here. So, Union Rags is a good, like you said, Tate had the side, won the race. And Union Rags with the right roll, with a lot of distance. Classic Empire, well, he won the first 2 races, closing to the Churchill Lane. He looked like a Derby horse, but I don't know. In the hopeful, he just lost the rider. He do. I just fell off. Race over. Pioneer now side America foul. So enough said there. It's 45-2, so that's a little risky for our pick 4. And actually that's about it. So I do like Gunnevera also. The horse you mentioned. And also one more horse, number 6, Blame Will. I think D-Ray Lucas found his Derby mule to parade around in all the preps because he's been running him on the turf distance. He went twice on the distance. So you gotta always be careful of D-Ray Lucas in these races. So Blame Will's 12-1. All right, that's about it. So I don't know if you get those numbers, but.
I get 7, 1, 9, 11, and 6.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Beautiful.
All right.
That should fit the deal.
I actually researched. I was trying to get I wanted the Keno sounds and everything. I wanted the whole machine and everything. I had to just set up with the image. I don't know if you saw your picture was actually up there as well. So if you want,
yes,
you can trademark that and get that as a local casino.
I'll tell you, this multiply because.
Yeah, with the way I've been handicapping, the slump I've been in, I'll probably be better off trying to pick that the ticket where you get none, you still get paid, right? When you get like 0 for 16, you get the big money. So, despite all those numbers, we actually do have at least a little bit of a consensus in all this. I had actually missed the horse that Joe caught onto the 9, so. But I will start off with my top pick, which is, and again, if I really had it, my top pick would be that button that looks like this that's on the machine. It says all your favorite tracks and things like that. I would the all button if I could. But this is the horse that I ended up settling on. Grand Motion, Jose Ortiz. It's the only horse, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the few horses or the only horse in the race that's one going around 2 turns. I believe that's the case in this particular situation. And so with these young horses, a 2-year-old, that was something that I was looking for. And so I ended up settling on holiday bonus. First time Lasix, kind of a stronger angle for me after last year at the Breeders' Cup, and Joe and I have alluded to that before. And I like the switch from Trevor McCarthy to Jose Ortiz. So that was my top pick. My backup pick, or my second pick here, strange enough, I did not go to the favorite right away. I used that as my second line. But I went to the same horse that Ray picked, which was, I believe it was Bitterman. And so Bitterman won the first 2, including the Sanford. Being in the hopeful. That's what knocked me off from picking the 1 as my top pick over the 7. with that performance there going 7 furlongs. So I did like the 7 a little bit more with that experience. And then if we had room, and again, only if we needed it, I would have gone ahead and put in Classic Empire as well. Again, a Mark Cassidy horse that looked like a world beater those first 2. Before, who knows what happened there, where Jose Ortiz couldn't come up on the title. Interesting that Ortiz, doesn't go back here and ends up over on the 7 in this particular race. But so be it. What was that?
I think it's Irad.
What was Irad Ortiz? Excuse me.
Yeah, Junior. Yeah, IJ. Yeah.
I've got the 7 on top, and I've got the 7 and the 1, but I've got the 7 really as my stronger of the 2 picks, with the 11 underneath. Again, our Keno King, Ray, he's got the 7, the 1, and the 9, along with the 11 and the 6. And Joe had the 9 on top, and I believe he had the 2 and the 7 underneath. All right, I will come on back. Hold on 1 second. And here we go with, this is the big one, right? The race number 9. It is the Shadwell Turf Mile Stakes. They're going 1 mile on the Keeneland Turf Course. The purse is $1 million. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards. 11 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 10, Tourist, trained by Belmont and ridden by Jose Lescano. 3-1 on the morning line. Ray, this looks like a wide open affair here in the Shadwell. Includes runners from the East, the West, Canada. Who do you like in the feature?
Well, yeah, it's a tough race. I mean, a lot of these horses could run well here. It's a very competitive race. You have to miss Wise Dan in a spot like this, and all those big tough horses. Actually, I settled on number 9, Ring Weekend. I'm sorry, no, I settled number 4, Mondolisi. Been racing out of the country, but I think in the 3 starts in this country, I mean, he's run very well. He lost to Tepin in the British Cup mile. He won the Woodbine mile, and he won the Arlington Million at a longer distance. So I think he might have found a home here. I mean, he raced against Tepin in Europe and got blasted. I mean, 11th. But maybe.
Hold on 1 second there, Ray. Just to make sure I got it. I think we got Joe back. Joe, are you back?
I can see you and hear you.
Okay, there you are. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
Like an alarm there. Ain't no hurricane there. Oh boy. Actually, Mondolisi. I mean, I think that he found a home in the U.S. and I think he's gonna run good here, 6-1, and he likes the mile. He's gonna close. This turf course looks like he favors closes a little bit, so that's gonna be my top choice. I do like Eradicus, number 8, for Shug McGahee, our old boy from Belmont. Jose picks up the mount, and he's a tough sucker. He's 13 races, 11 in the money. There's actually 12 in the money, and he always runs a good race. So he's gonna benefit also for the tough, the track closing. I mean, finished second to Flintshire, so that's a pretty good. Man, what's going on there? And also number 9, Ring Weekend. I like him on the 3rd bottom here for Grand Motion. So I'm picking all closers. I don't know if the speed's gonna hold. There's one speed. It might go all the way. So that'll be my 4th, and that's about it. The 4, the 8, the 9, and on the bottom the 11. So I don't know. I think we lost Joe there.
What's going on,
Um,
What that could be.
Let's see. I'm coming back to you. Well, I know we've lost Joe. I can see the little blue man is here. Is back there, or at least he's changed back in. He's changed back into a blue man.
He could have tried to get back on.
Try and get back on. All right, and so Ray, I've got you there with the 4 and the 8, and then the 9 and the 11 underneath, I believe.
Yeah, the 11's a tepid pick. Tepid,
right.
that's it. Tap it.
While we are waiting for Mr. English to rejoin us, I will go ahead and step in here. Hang on 1 second, folks. Let me give you my picks for the feature here, which is the Shadwell Turf Mile. I've really had a tough time with this one, and again, I already used my fictional all button in the previous race. So I can't just keep hitting the all button over and over again, or else I lose it all. But this was another race where I really had some difficulty coming to it. I think Ray has already touched on the horse that I kind of found myself on, and that is the number 9, Ring Weekend. I guess I'm going with my Grand Motion picks this week. So it's Grand Motion and Junior Alvarado. If you like flashy percentages, look at that one when they combine together. The horse has been actually very much sharp all the way going back to when I saw him with my own eyes in March of 2015, right, the Frank Kilrow Mile. So coming back off of that, he was second by a nose, coming off a little bit over a year layoff in the Dixie. Then came right back. He finished 6th. It was behind Taurus by about 4.5 lengths. Again, he was off a little bit of a layoff again at that point in time, about 3 months off in the 4-star Dave, and kind of caught a good field. And if you look over there in the running line, he got one of those comments that I'm not so crazy about, right? Pinched after the break. He was stuck inside. I know he finished 6 out of 6, but just 4.5 lengths off the lead, off a 3-month layoff against a very good field. So kind of give him a break off of that one. Came back in the Bernard Baruch. I know he was the favorite in that one, but again, 9-horse field. Again, he encountered some traffic. He was in the 2-path on the inside. He got bumped. He got bumped again. Velasquez got him all the way around. So John Velasquez got him to the finale there. Came up with the win. And so I ended up kind of going with Ring Weekend. I have a feeling this is something that I've done in the past. Has to do with the fact that I won money on him previously, and so I've kind of got a sweet spot for him. The second horse that I think I didn't hear get mentioned all that much, and I'm trying to find it here in my racing form, is Tourist, which is obviously the chalk and the favorite. But Bill Mott, Jose Lezcano hit a very solid 21% together here, and this horse has been kind of showing himself a little bit like he wants to be the class of this mile turf division. As you see here, nothing but grade 1s over and over again. And he's come up, with a win there at the last one in the 4-star Dave. He was able to get ahead of Ring Weekend there, but it's been very solid. So the other horse that I was dying to throw in here, I was looking for him for months, waiting for him to come back, was the other California horse that when I initially started handicapping this form, it jumped out of my eyes. One of you kind of set the California Turf Division on fire out here, going all the way back to when Joe and I saw him on opening day, December 26th, at Santa Anita. So all the way back here, Joe and I were there. We caught the very beginning of what became the What Have You sensation. He won the Cal Cup Class Trip, and then he came back with the Frank Kilrow and the Thunder Road, and everybody kind of expected to see him kind of going onwards and upwards throughout the year in preparation for the Breeders' Cup, and then he went to the show. So now he pops up here. He's in the Shadwell Turf Mile. He's a speed horse. He likes to be out there on the lead and just kind of take you all the way around. He seems to like to win. That's his style. And so if I had room, maybe on an individual ticket, there's a chance that the number 11 would show up. Did we get Joe back? Did we get Mr. English back?
Joe back.
All right. So
Hello.
I'm going to go with the 9 and the 10, and I am going to turn it over to Joe. Joe, what do you think of the Shadwell Turf?
I just want to confirm.
Make it a little bit.
Rich, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Joe.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. This race was a head scratcher. Other than the inside 2 runners, I think any of the other 9 would not really surprise me in the least.
I agree.
This was a real head scratcher, and if I was probably having my own personal ticket, I'd probably go about 5 deep. And I know Ray he touched on Mondial East, and Danny Tudhope didn't come all this way to ride one horse to have this horse run up the track. So I think he made this trip knowing full well what he's got underneath him. The horse is 2 for 3 domestically, and the only loss was to Tepin in the Breeders' Cup Mile last year. So they've got him to beat, regardless. I don't care what the morning line says. My guess, and it's probably because his figure in the Arlington Million was low last time. But to me, he's got to be the chalk in this spot. And here's the other thing, and nobody even on this show gives my second choice any respect. Excuse me. The horse that finished a neck behind Bondialiste in the Arlington Million is the 6, Cassequy.
You've been talking about that horse all year.
Keeps good race after good race, and if you like Bondialiste at 5-1, how can you not like Cassequy at 20-1? Wouldn't I rather have a 20-1 shot on my ticket? Absolutely. The horse, bang up race after bang up race. The only knock against him in this spot is that he has not had much success going 8 furlongs. But again, it seems like he can either be on the lead, he can be close behind, or he can be further behind, but he always seems to run a race. Alvarado knows them well. He's also one of the 2 horses in this race that are not picking up weight from their last time. They both ran in the Arlington Million, both carried 126, both carried 126 again today. The other 3 horses that I want to use underneath, I know Ray mentioned Ironicus, 11 of 12 in the exacta. Can't knock what he's done. The only thing, not a grade 1 winner. He will be at some point, and maybe this is the spot. Rich mentioned the 10, Tourist. Terrific form. The last two runs have been great. The only knock on, there's 2 knocks on Tourist. One is the outside draw. I don't know if the horse is going to be wide around both turns, and in a race like this, losing ground on turns in a field this good could get you beat. I'm saying could, not saying would. And the other thing is, Lozano hasn't won on this horse yet. He's 0 for 4. Rosario's won. Juan Giroux, Manny Franco's even won on this horse, but not for whatever reason. Jose Lozano. Again, you're nitpicking, and it's a big field, but he's going to be on our ticket probably anyway. And the other horse I want to include is Grand Arch, who's 6 for 7 in the exacta at Keeneland. He's an old war horse. Not sure he's this good, so he'd probably be my 5th choice. Again, he's won almost $2 million. He's been knocking with some of the better horses. Again, he may be a little bit below his best, but I would want to include him in the ticket if we could do it. Again, it may be that we just don't have enough room. So again, my choices would be 4, 6, 8, 10, and 5 in that order. And I guess you could put me on as Mr. Keno for this race.
No, right.
Yeah, why you got one more than Ray?
Sounds good.
This is a very good race, and the winner of this race is going to earn it.
All right, so Joe Keno King English went with 4, 6, 10, 8, 5. I've got Ray with 4, 8, 9, 11, and you've got Rich with 9, 10. I kind of had the 11 underneath, but and I forget to calculate this one. All right, it's good that I'm on the computer. And we're going to go ahead and I'll move in and open up our pick 4 ticket here.
Oh my goodness, 4 weeks till Breeders' Cup. Awesome.
1 month from today.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do we have our tickets yet? Yeah.
No.
General admin guys again.
Yeah, I think tickets are pretty much sold out unless you want to spend like $10,000 for a box or something. That would be my guess. But
thank you.
We'll be doing what we did when Ray came out. We'll be general admissioning, and my guess is if I can bring in my lawn chair, I'll bring in my lawn chair and sit wherever I feel like it. I don't know that we're gonna be able to get seats in the grandstand because they'll probably be priced out of our range. Because we still are 3.
Sure you can get it done. Yeah.
We still are 3 broke guys after all.
That's too much. All right. About that. And I'm going back for a moment, and I'll go ahead and bring open our pick 4 template.
I don't have any quizzes or anything to fill the time here. So I don't know. I'm just a little off my game. Maybe it was the switch from the garage into the house.
No, I understand. For anybody who's watching, or if either one of you guys want to join me later on, I'm kind of excited. Hong Kong will be opening up just after this. After this show concludes, Hong Kong racing will start.
Hong Kong.
For those of you who stay up late and like to get onto things like Twitter, I am Zuma Point at Twitter. Feel free to reach out to me.
There is something.
I love Hong Kong.
Rich, you might appreciate. I actually had a chance. If we could have, I actually had a chance to go to the Desert Trip concert tonight this whole
Oh,
weekend.
wow.
But unfortunately, it didn't work out because I didn't think we could leave my mother-in-law with the kids for 3 nights in a row.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we would have got to see the Stones and Paul McCartney and the Who and Bob
Oh,
Dylan
man.
and Roger Waters and Neil Young. But unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Yeah, forget about your mother-in-law.
No, I needed my mother-in-law. The problem is my kids would be too much for my mother-in-law. If I had see now, what I could have easily done is just come over to your house, drop the kids, and said we'll be back on Sunday. And of course, we'd be 2 broke guys and 1 guy in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Baffin has a horse in the Champagne tomorrow. Big Rocket.
What was that?
Baffin has a horse in the Champagne tomorrow. Big Gray Rocket.
Rocket. Yeah.
Oh, we saw that horse show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I was really concerned about the hurricane actually coming up the East Coast, but obviously it didn't move fast enough for it to affect this weekend's races.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, it's and our prayers go out to the people in Florida who are dealing with this right now.
Yeah, no, the Jacksonville area, they said Melbourne on the beach, Jacksonville.
Well, pretty much the whole state at this point.
Yeah, they got hit.
Yeah, they got hit pretty
Well,
hard.
more middle state with the West Coast. It's got winds and rain.
No, my
East Coast.
mom lives in Sarasota, so she was probably spared anything more than just some rain.
Yeah, some rain. Yeah.
All right. Take a look at what I have up on my screen so far. I think that's got all of our choices for all the races. Let's see, let me fix this one. See that here. I believe in race number.
And where's Frosted? I guess he's resting, huh? He hasn't shown up in any of the pups.
No.
I think in race 8, I used just our top line picks. So we've got the 1, the 7, and the 9. And on the outside looking in, then would be the 2 and the 11.
Wow.
And the 6, excuse me. 2, 11, and 6 that we left out in race number 8.
How many deep are we in the last? Is
7. That's 7.
Okay, so that's actually not bad. That's only a $42 combination, so a $21 ticket. Actually, wait a minute.
No, that's a 63 combination. That's a 31.
31.50.
Yeah.
That's not bad, actually. Yeah.
Well, okay. 3, 1, 3. Yeah, if we wanted to add somebody in that race, Rich, it would go up to $42. So I guess it would be $10.50 more per horse we wanted to add in that race. That makes sense. But I mean,
Is there a guaranteed pool?
I'm okay going 3 deep, but if we wanted to add a 4th, I wouldn't object because that race is another race that's kind of wide open. I mean, but the one advantage is we don't have the favorite in that spot. We don't have the 11. We don't have the 11 in that spot. He's the more known favorite.
Yes, and it's on too. I had the 11 underneath, and Ray had the 11 underneath on his.
Yeah, 1, 2, 5 over 7.
So 3 times 4 is 12 times 7 is 77, right? Cut it in half. 38. What, 38.50?
What? What do you mean? If we did?
If you had the 4th, if you had a 4th one here.
No, it would go up to 42. It'd be 3 by 4, which is 12 by 7, which is 84.
Oh, 84.
That's
42.
So
Well, I have an idea.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Rich, is it 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, yeah, 10, 11.
Okay. Go ahead, Ray. What's your idea?
Just my opinion. I would feel more comfortable including the 11 in the 8th race and throwing out Stonetastic. Just my opinion.
Again, I'm against Stonetastic, so you're not going to get an objection from me.
Right.
But it's funny. It's hard to throw. It's on such a speed favoring track, or at least the way it looked, the way it played last meet. It's really kind of hard to toss her out. I don't disagree with the sentiment because like I'm with you, but because I really don't want 6-5 to open, and that's if she goes off at 6-5, and then see Teppan as being anything other than 1-5 at best to start.
I mean, we like bendable, so we gotta stick to our guts, you know. I like him.
He's been wanting to stay alive.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was against Stonetastic to begin with, so I'm not going to object if that's what we feel like doing. But I also want to stay alive.
Yeah, sure.
And Rich, there is at least what I saw, I thought there was a $350,000 guarantee. So
yes, I believe that was what it was.
So I don't think even if we get chalk, and here's the other thing, it's like so basically what we're doing, if I'm just going on Ray's idea, we'd be chucking out one favorite, Stonetastic, and putting another favorite in, which is Classic Empire, because he's probably going to be there. So we're basically just chucking one for another. I mean, again, I don't care one way or the other. I'm just making a point. I mean, like I said, I was against the two to begin with. And if we do that, we're only in that first race, 2-1.
She has really done nothing wrong but fall off the loser jockey. So that's my opinion. You know.
4-7. Actually, because that ticket would be 28 instead of the ticket we have it as now, 1252179, and then the Keno would be
If we include both of them, that would be what, 4 by 3 is 12 and 7.
It's 28 versus 3150. It's really not. It's not that much of a difference.
Oh, to include both of them?
Oh, if you put both of them on, it would be 42. But see, Ray. Then we got possibility, like we always talk about.
Yeah, 3 trucks. Yeah, right, yeah.
Because, I mean, again, it's nice to stay alive, but to win how much? 10-15. I mean, to net a profit of $10-20. I mean, again, I'd rather, it's better than tearing it up, but.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's all a matter of perspective. Rich, what do you think?
I have a horrible feeling that if we drop Stonetastic out of there, we'll be texting each other very early on Saturday morning and things like that. But I'm okay.
You win by 5.
I have a feeling, as you guys know, as you all heard by now, that we all bet the addition to this and that. If I bet even a small one, I'm sure Stonetastic will be on mine.
Yeah.
If I was only going to go two, on my ticket, if I was only going to go 2 horses deep in that race, I would just use Stonetastic and Mendel. But and the good thing about that is I can use Stonetastic and Bendable, I can single tap in, and then I can hit the all button in the 8th race, which is what I wanted to do anyway. But that one right there, like I think Joe was saying, that is 20.
That one's 28.
Yeah, 2 times 4, and then 7 in the finale is 56, and that'd be a $28 wager.
Right. Either 28 in that incantation, or the way we originally had it, it's 31.50. So it's all a question of. I mean, again, I guess the other alternative, if we wanted to, if we can put them both in, and it becomes 42.
Go for $14.
For $14, it becomes 42. But then you got the possibility, again, as small as it may be, of chalk, and then needing the 7th choice to make.
But then again, if it was 2, 2, and 11, we'll be knocked out.
If we don't put them both in, yes.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yes,
sure.
I completely agree. I mean, so I was okay with the original, leaving the 11 out, but again, I'm flexible.
Yeah,
I mean, no one really had 11 on top, so that's
No.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so
But the other thing, nobody had the 2 on top either.
right, yeah, true, yeah.
So
So why are we fighting over favorites? I know, yeah, that's weird.
we can put them both in, or I mean,
Yeah,
we
the
can
price is usually should
one, or we can get rid of
ruin
both.
your mind. These lads.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm. If I would be more inclined to stay with the original as opposed to taking out Stonetastic and putting in the 11 in the 8th race.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Like I said, that's just my opinion.
No,
I mean, heck, if the 11 beats us, if somehow it comes out 6-2, if it comes out 2-11, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
oh no, definitely that. No,
Really not going to be something I lose sleep over.
yeah.
all right, I got that right.
With the original way.
Is that 125? Is that what I have? One. Yes, make sure I got that right. 1, 2,
Yeah,
5,
you're right.
Two.
It's right. On the screen is right.
179. Yep. 3 times 3 times 7.
7, 9, yeah.
It's 40. So 3 times 3 is 1.
Yeah.
63 at 50 cents is 31.50. Works for me, gentlemen.
No,
All right. I'm coming back. All right. For those of you who are watching, if you enjoyed the show, we will be back next week. Before I say that, let me just make sure everybody's got that down before I get into it. We are going with a pick 4 ticket that's going to go on race 6. We've got the 1, the 2, and the 5. In race number 7, we all agreed we're going to go ahead and single Tepin. In race number 8, we've got the 1, the 7, and the 9. And in race number 9, if somebody wants to key the Keno music for me, we've got the 4, the 5, the 6, the 8, the 9, the 10, and the 11.
When I'm in, I'm going to take a picture of the Keno board, or maybe I'll see if I can do something about broadcasting from a Keno room somewhere.
That would be awesome, man.
So we'll
So
see.
you're going to be in Vegas for next week's broadcast, Joe?
I will be in Vegas for next week's broadcast, God willing. Yes.
all right.
If he's even. All right. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed our show, we are going to be back next week. As you heard, Joe's going to be in Vegas. We will get together and take a look at yet another exciting card. We're going back up north of the border. We're going back to Woodbine Racing. For program note for everybody here, we will be on our normal time, normal bat channel, normal bat time. However, the stake that we're going to handicap for is going to be on Sunday. So Woodbine has a stake schedule with 4 stakes races. As everybody knows, the stake schedule gets a little thin this time of year as everybody gets ready for the Breeders' Cup. So, again, Sunday racing, same time, same channel here on Friday night. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It is always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Yes, it is always.
Highlight of the week. Well, except next week.
All right, for Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.